Hi, I'm Sam Kramer, analyst at the British Design Fund. Today joined by Efrem. Efrem is CEO of the BDF Evergreen's most recent deployment. Efrem, pleasure to have you. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and your background?
Hi, Sam. Thanks for having me. I'm the CEO of Permia Sensing. Um, for my background, I have to say that I'm originally from Brazil. That's what we were talking about before, and this is important because we with palm trees. So Brazil is a big producer of mostly coconuts, but we're increasing palm oil as well for fuel. But my background is in business. In Brazil, I worked for probably the first tech VC in the country. That's what about 25 years ago now. But in 2005, I wanted to have an experience abroad, and I moved to London um, to stay for a year. But this has been 20 years now. And during this period, I worked in startups in several sectors like financial data, creative industry, even private jet as well. But most recently, I started getting into design and how to apply design techniques into venture building. And I did this at a corporate venture incubator called Mac49 from the US. And actually, that's how I met our chairman, Stephen Hampson. And that's how my story with Permia Sensing started.
Fantastic. And moving on to Permia Sensing then. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what it is that you guys do and sort of the problem you're trying to solve?
Sure. So the problem that we're trying to solve is that palm plantations, they produce only 50% of their potential. Right? There are several aspects to that. It could be pests and diseases. It could be how nutrition is managed. And nutrition is hydration and nutrients, but also other aspects that we don't control, like the weather. Right. So we started a story looking at pests and diseases well, there's one called Red Palm Weevil, which is very prominent in coconuts, and for dates, the FAO says is their biggest threat. This is how we started, and based on an improved capability of our sensor, we started getting into tree health as a whole. Tree health that has a direct impact into yield.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the team? You've already mentioned Chairman Stephen Hampson.
Yeah, I think when well, you can edit this part, but we spoke about how we started, so I think that's interesting to say. So Permia started in a very rare case of academic research being led by a need from the market. So we have two of our co-founders are from Sri Lanka, another big coconut producer, and our CTO, he knows, well, he's a coconut plantation owner, and he knows other coconut farmers, and Professor Thrish from Imperial College also knows some coconut farmers. They were very worried about their trees dying because of a pest called Red Palm Weevil. And this pest is invisible to the eye because 2/3 of its cycle happens inside the tree. So when you see the bugs around your farm, it's too late. You have to burn down trees, and that means losing sometimes 10, 15 years of productivity because you have to burn down the tree. So in our team, we have Professor Thrish. He's a professor of robotics from Imperial College. He's a director at the Dyson School of Design Engineering. Our CTO, Hasta, he has a PhD in robotics sensing from King's College. As I said, he is a coconut farm owner himself. We also have in the team Dr. Stephen Hampson. He created more than 30 spin-outs in his career, having 2 IPOs under his belt, including one in agriculture tech.
And then we've already spoken briefly about some of the key geographies, but what do you have planned for the next 12 months?
Right. So for the plan for the next 12 months is we have recently completed a demo in Qatar for date palms. we should start a proper trial in the second half of the year. And Red Palm Weevil is such a problem in the Middle East that some of the governments that take charge in identifying, monitoring, and treating the trees. Right. So, our contact is a partnership together with another British startup and pitching the government of Qatar. We're also going for our next round of funding, a seed round of 1.5 million. That's for the second half of the year, and this is to accelerate sales, also to expand geographically, and to help with support R&D. Part of this R&D is to come up with new sensors to enable farmers to execute the job themselves.
Well, thank you very much for giving us a brief overview of Permia. We are, of course, very excited to have you on board and look forward to what the future might hold.
Thank you, Sam. Great to be here.